Hello, powerful one. Welcome to yet another edition of Inner Growth with Osezwa Elimihe. Today, we are taking a look at the power of our humanity. I am still your host, Osezwa Anthony Elimihe, and I am ever in the game of helping you grow from inside out. That is the drill. What is the power of our humanity? They hinge on three elements. I've discussed it in one video before, but I'm going into deeper explanation of this thing. It is the be, the do, and the have. Be, do, and have. In order to give it some effect, let me start with the second element, which is the do. Now, do has been defined or identified by L. Ron Hubbard as the creation of effects. To do is to create an effect, and the entire universe is filled with effects. Everything around the human being is an effect. The people, the houses, the streets, the material realities around us, they are all appearances, they are effects. In other words, it's human beings that create all of these things. I didn't say created, I mean create all of these things, because the process of creation is a perpetual one. As humans, every thought that we emit is a creative intelligence sent out into the universe. We are forever creating. That is the action of effecting, creating an effect. Now you will now say, what you say human beings are part of the effect, so I created human beings. We don't see human beings as they really are. We see them as effects. We see them as consequences, and on that we respond. The real human being will not really be available to us until we ourselves become real human beings. So we are seeing the effect of what we have created in others. Ever heard of the concept of projection? The things you see in other people are the things that you have created within you for them. You are a nice person can become a nasty person to you. I know of an experience I had for some years that when I had this car, every single mechanic that I came across was duping me. They were using me. One of them even knocked the engine of my new car within the space of 18 months. And for that period of 18 months, I stuck to him. I didn't go to anybody else. But he was a nice mechanic recommended to me by a friend whom this mechanic had served judiciously, wisely for years. Of course, to cut the story short, every other mechanic I met did the same thing to me until I understood one fact. That I created those mechanics to be so, because they are not all bad. That will mean that the entire mechanics in Lagos are bad. Because each and every one of these mechanics was recommended to me. The reason these people recommended their mechanics to me was because they wanted me to enjoy the kind of treatment they were getting from their own mechanics. So they recommended, but at the end of the day, I did not enjoy them. So I learned that it wasn't the case of the mechanics, it was me. A lot of the times, if not all the times that people respond to us, they are responding to us the way we have created them to become. So what are you making people to become in your life? Everything around us is our own creation. Somebody divorces a woman, another person marries that woman and enjoys bliss from the woman. Another woman dumps a man and feels it's not my type, it's not working, this guy is a loser. To another woman, he becomes a champion. It's about effect. It's our creation. We create these things. So then let's come back to the picture. The be. What is be? Be is the capacity to become the agent, to become the effect creator. That's what be is all about. Now, understand that at this level of the human being, we are pulling from the mental dimension of identity. With that dimension of the mind, we can become anything we have chosen to be. Now, we either become an agent of positive change and transformation of creation, or we become an agent of negative change and creation. Therefore, there will be no transformation, but there will be a deformation. This is one truth about life. We cannot cease from being an agent. We cannot cease from being effect generators. We can't. You know why? Because that is how we're designed. We either become a conscious change creators, effect makers, or unconscious effect makers. The choice is ours. When we do them unconsciously, we create problems for ourselves. But if we are conscious about these things, we do them in line with our conscious desires. So we create the things we would want to see, we would want to experience. It is the game of life. Now, this is it. By B, we assume an identity. And that identity is what follows us through life as long as we retain it. Some of us can either create or assume a false identity or the true identity of who we are. But whichever one it is, we must choose an identity that serves us right. You get it? It is not by force that we must become humans today. I was telling somebody sometime this week that we are all not human beings. Some of us are animals. That is to say, we function on the level of the body. We see ourselves as eaters, comfort seekers, and survivalists. We want to survive at all costs. At that level, we are only seeing life from the perspective of the five senses: taste, smell, hear, see, and touch, feel. If you check the activities of your life, you'll find out that if they are around these five senses, therefore you are an animal. Nothing more than that. But when you can take the game further and say there are things that are beyond these five senses that pull you, that make you want to rest on certain facts, then you are becoming something higher, which could be mind. So if you are seeing yourself from the perspective of social relevance, of social impact, I want to leave a legacy behind. I want people to say, I did this. I want to impact on people. At that level, you are becoming socially aware. So you have gone to the level of the mind. And at the level of the mind, there are different cadres. So these assumptions of identity are not necessarily your innate, natural identity. It might be coming from inspiration or motivation that you've gotten from someone else who did certain things and you wanted to be like that person. So you are assuming the identity of somebody else in order to create impact in your own way. That is still on you, but it's a better way to live than to be animalistic, to be consumption driven. All right. When you have a society where the majority of people are thinking in terms of legacy, they have left the idea of food, fashion, forks, and sound behind, and they have now moved on to the higher level of creating social impact, creating environmental growth. Some people are even going as far as caring for the animals, the ecology, the ecosystem. Some are talking about going to the moon to go and create another habitat there. Some are thinking of making their society the very best out there, adding to people. Their wealth is no longer for consumption, for pride, and everything is about creating impact. That is a higher level of being. That is mentalist.